Top 4 types of potatoes to flush out, toxins and repair your kidneys. What if I told you one of the most powerful foods to support your kidneys is probably already sitting in your kitchen right now? Not some rare herb, not an expensive supplement, just potatoes. For hundreds of years, potatoes and other root vegetables have been part of simple, traditional meals. And they weren't just filling, they were nourishing. These humble foods are packed with key nutrients that help your body stay hydrated, support healthy blood pressure, keep your metabolism steady, and fight harmful oxidative stress. And all of these things matter a lot when we talk about kidney health. Now, here's the important part. Potatoes often get a bad reputation, mostly because of how they're prepared. Fried, heavily salted, or loaded with processed toppings. That's not what we're talking about. But when cooked the right way and eaten in proper portions, certain types of potatoes can actually support your kidneys instead of hurting them. So in this video, we're going to break down the top 4 types of potatoes that may help flush out toxins and support kidney repair, plus the right way to prepare them so you don't accidentally cancel out the benefits. Let's get into it. 1. White potatoes. Let's talk about white potatoes in a more honest way. A lot of people hear potatoes and immediately think of fries, chips, or something unhealthy. But that image doesn't tell the full story. In their natural form, white potatoes are actually nutrient-dense and surprisingly supportive for overall health, including kidney health, when eaten the right way. One of the most important nutrients in white potatoes is potassium. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a medium potato provides a meaningful amount of potassium, which helps the body balance sodium and maintain healthy blood pressure. And this matters because high blood pressure is one of the leading causes of kidney damage. The National Kidney Foundation explains that stable blood pressure helps protect the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys. When pressure is too high for too long, those filters slowly weaken. So for people with normal kidney function, potassium from whole foods like potatoes can actually support balance rather than harm it. White potatoes also contain vitamin C and natural plant compounds that act as antioxidants. These compounds help lower oxidative stress, which is basically internal cell damage caused by unstable molecules. Over time, oxidative stress can injure blood vessels, including the delicate vessels in the kidneys. Research discussed by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health highlights how diets rich in antioxidant foods help reduce inflammation and protect vascular health. When inflammation is lower, the kidneys don't have to work under constant stress. There's another interesting benefit that many people don't realize. If you cook potatoes and then allow them to cool before eating, part of their starch turns into something called resistant starch. This type of starch behaves more like fiber. It feeds good gut bacteria and can improve insulin sensitivity. That is important because diabetes remains the #1 cause of chronic kidney disease. When blood sugar stays more stable, the small blood vessels inside the kidneys are less likely to be damaged over time. Of course, balance is key. White potatoes naturally contain potassium and some oxalates. People with advanced chronic kidney disease, high potassium levels, or a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones may need to be careful with portion size. But preparation makes a real difference. One kidney-friendly cooking method is double boiling. You peel the potato, cut it into small cubes, soak it in warm water for a couple of hours, then boil it and discard the water. Some people even boil it twice with fresh water each time. This process can significantly reduce potassium content. After that, you can lightly mash it with a small amount of olive oil and herbs instead of butter and salt. This keeps the meal simple, lower in sodium, and easier on the kidneys. So when prepared properly and eaten in moderate portions, white potatoes are not the enemy. In fact, they can be part of a smart, balanced plan to support kidney health. 2. Red potatoes. Red potatoes, the red skin variety of Solanum tuberosum, bring many of the same benefits as white potatoes, but with a small nutritional bonus hiding in the skin. That deep red color is not just for looks. It comes from natural plant pigments called anthocyanins. These are powerful antioxidants that help protect your cells from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is one of the silent contributors to inflammation and blood vessel damage over time. Since the kidneys are filled with tiny blood vessels that filter your blood every minute, protecting those vessels is extremely important. Research discussed by institutions like the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health shows that anthocyanin-rich foods are linked to improved vascular function and reduced inflammation. When blood vessels stay flexible and healthy, blood can flow more smoothly through the kidneys. That means less strain on the delicate filtration units, known as glomeruli. Red potatoes also naturally contain potassium, just like white potatoes. According to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, potatoes remain one of the top whole food sources of potassium in the American diet. Potassium helps balance sodium and supports healthy blood pressure. And as the National Kidney Foundation explains, managing blood pressure is one of the most important steps in protecting long-term kidney function. When blood pressure stays controlled, there is less pressure pushing against those tiny kidney filters every single day. Another thing red potatoes offer is steady, whole food carbohydrates. They provide complex carbs that digest more slowly than ultra-processed snacks or refined white flour products. This helps deliver more stable energy and reduces sharp blood sugar spikes. Stable blood sugar matters because diabetes remains the leading cause of chronic kidney disease. When you replace processed carbohydrates with whole foods like red potatoes, you may lower overall inflammatory load in the body, and less inflammation means less stress on the kidneys over time. Now, we also need to be realistic and responsible. The red skin does contain higher levels of oxalates compared to the inner flesh. For most healthy people, this is not a problem. But for individuals who are prone to calcium oxalate kidney stones, preparation becomes important. Peeling the skin can lower oxalate intake. Boiling the potatoes and discarding the cooking water can also reduce potassium and oxalate levels. Staying well hydrated throughout the day is another key factor in preventing stone formation. These simple adjustments can significantly reduce risk for those who need to be cautious. So again, the concern is conditional, not universal. For people with normal kidney function, red potatoes eaten in moderate portions and prepared properly can be part of a balanced, kidney-conscious diet. Before we move on, if you're finding this helpful, take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about simple, science-based ways to protect your kidneys and stay healthy long-term. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, health concerns, or topics you want me to cover next. Also, tell me where you're watching from and how old you are. It really helps me understand who I'm talking to and create better videos for you. All right, let's keep going. 3. Taro. Now let's talk about something many people in the West don't eat often in taro. Taro is a root vegetable that has been used for centuries in Asia, Africa, and the Pacific Islands. Nutritionally, it is dense, filling, and surprisingly supportive for overall metabolic health. Yet it rarely gets mentioned in kidney conversations. That's a mistake. One of the biggest strengths of taro is its fiber content. Taro is naturally rich in dietary fiber, and fiber does much more than just help digestion. Fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut. When these bacteria break down fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids, which help regulate inflammation and support immune balance. In recent years, researchers have been talking more about something called the gut-kidney axis. This concept, discussed in medical literature and supported by organizations like the National Kidney Foundation, explains that gut health and kidney health are closely connected. When the gut microbiome is balanced, it may reduce the production of uremic toxins, waste substances that can build up in people with chronic kidney disease. In simple terms, a healthier gut can mean less toxic burden on the kidneys. Taro also contains natural plant compounds called polyphenols. These compounds act as antioxidants in the body. Antioxidants help calm oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the silent drivers of kidney decline. Research highlighted by institutions such as the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health consistently shows that diets rich in plant-based antioxidants are linked to lower levels of inflammatory markers. When inflammation is reduced, kidney tissue faces less long-term damage. Another benefit of taro is that it is naturally gluten-free. For individuals who have gluten sensitivity, celiac disease, or certain autoimmune conditions. Replacing refined wheat products with whole food carbohydrates like taro may help reduce inflammatory triggers. Lower systemic inflammation means less overall stress on blood vessels, including the tiny vessels inside the kidneys. But as always, preparation matters. Raw or undercooked taro contains calcium oxalate crystals. These crystals can cause irritation in the mouth and digestive tract. They can also contribute to oxalate intake, which may be a concern for people prone to kidney stones. The good news is that proper cooking makes a big difference. Thorough boiling, steaming, or pressure cooking breaks down irritating compounds and reduces oxalate load. Discarding the cooking water can further lower the amount of soluble oxalates. For individuals with a history of calcium oxalate stones, total oxalate intake should be monitored across the whole diet. But that does not automatically mean taro must be eliminated completely. Portion control and correct cooking are usually enough for most people. When prepared properly, taro can be a fiber-rich, anti-inflammatory carbohydrate that supports gut balance and indirectly supports kidney health through that gut-kidney connection. 4. Rutabaga. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked root vegetables and rutabaga. Many people walk past it in the grocery store without knowing what it really offers. But nutritionally, rutabaga is impressive, especially for people thinking about kidney support. One important advantage is that rutabaga is generally lower in oxalates compared to many common potatoes. For individuals who are concerned about calcium, oxalate kidney stones, this can make rutabaga a gentler option. Oxalates can bind with calcium and form crystals in susceptible individuals. While not everyone needs to avoid oxalates, those with a history of stones often benefit from choosing lower oxalate vegetables when possible. Rutabaga also belongs to the brassica family, the same family as cabbage and broccoli. Vegetables in this group contain natural compounds called glucosinolates. When you chew and digest them, these compounds are converted into biologically active substances known as isothiocyanates. Research from institutions like the National Institutes of Health has explored how these compounds support the body's natural detox pathways and antioxidant defenses. Here's why that matters for kidney health. Your liver processes toxins and metabolic byproducts first. After that, the kidneys filter and excrete many of those processed wastes. If liver detox pathways are working efficiently, the overall burden on the kidneys may be reduced. In simple terms, when the liver does its job well, the kidneys have less stress to handle. Supporting one organ can indirectly support the other. Rutabaga is also a strong source of vitamin C. Vitamin C acts as an antioxidant and helps protect cells from oxidative damage. Oxidative stress is closely linked with chronic diseases, including kidney disease. According to information from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, diets rich in vitamin C containing vegetables are associated with improved vascular and immune health. Since the kidneys rely on healthy blood vessels to function properly, antioxidant protection is valuable. In addition to vitamin C, rutabaga provides dietary fiber. Fiber supports more stable blood sugar levels, helps with weight management, and lowers systemic inflammation. These are not small benefits. Diabetes, obesity, and chronic inflammation are all major risk factors for kidney disease. By supporting blood sugar balance and reducing inflammatory load, fiber-rich vegetables like rutabaga contribute to long-term kidney protection. Of course, balance still matters. Rutabaga contains mild goitrogenic compounds, which can interfere with thyroid function in people who have severe iodine deficiency or existing thyroid disorders. However, for most Americans who consume adequate iodine through iodized salt or seafood, moderate intake of cooked rutabaga is not considered problematic. Cooking also reduces the activity of goitrogenic compounds. Simple methods like steaming or boiling make rutabaga easier to digest while preserving most of its nutrients. So while rutabaga may not be as popular as potatoes, it offers a lower oxalate option, natural detox supporting compounds, antioxidants, and fiber, all of which can play a supportive role in protecting kidney health when included as part of a balanced diet. So here's the big takeaway. When we talk about flushing toxins and repairing your kidneys, we're not talking about magic drinks or extreme diets. We're talking about smart, simple food choices. White potatoes can support blood pressure and provide resistant starch for better blood sugar control. Red potatoes bring extra antioxidant power that helps protect your blood vessels. Taro supports the gut-kidney connection with fiber and anti-inflammatory compounds. And Rutabaga offers lower oxalates plus natural detox-supporting nutrients from the brassica family. When prepared the right way, peeled, boiled, portion-controlled, and not overloaded with salt, these root vegetables can become supportive tools instead of dietary fears. Remember, kidney health is not about removing every food. It's about balance, preparation, and understanding how your body works. Small daily improvements add up over time. If this video helped you see potatoes in a new way, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next kidney support guide. Share this video with someone who thinks potatoes are always bad. It might change their mind. And before you go, leave a comment below and tell me which of these four you eat the most, or which one you're going to try this week. Your kidneys work for you every single day. The question is, are you working for them? I'll see you in the next video.